Okay. So basically this is going to be our delete function that we are going to look at today. Okay. So this was the doubly linked list that we had created yesterday. I'll take the same doubly linked list. This was created in yesterday's lecture. And we'll try to delete some nodes from here and understand how the deletion function works. Okay. So let's try and first delete this node 60. So the node having the value 60. So let's try deleting this node first. Okay. So obviously whenever we are calling the delete function, we are going to call the delete function from the main function. Once we call the delete function, these are our local variables. Then we ask the user to enter the value. Based on that value, we are going to delete that node. Okay. And the delete function can be programmed in different ways. So the way this function has been programmed is, it has been programmed to delete according to the value. So whatever value is present in the node, based on that value, you are going to delete that node. Okay. You could also program to delete based on the position. So like yesterday we had learned in this add after function, we were inserting based on the position. So same way you can program to delete based on the position. Okay. But the function that we are currently learning is, we are going to delete based on the value present in the node. Okay. So if you can practice at home deleting based on the position. The idea concept of this function that we had learned yesterday, using this concept, you will have to use some for loop or something, get the position where you want to do the deletion, and then do the deletion. Okay. So let's do this. So I will ask the user to enter some value. Suppose the value that he enters is 60. Okay. And we are going to try to find that node with the value 60. If that node is present with the value 60, then we will delete it. If it is not present, then we will mention some error message like element not found or something like that. Okay, some error message to let the user know that the value he is trying to delete, that kind of value is not present in the doubly linked list. So we start from here. We initialize two local variables, R and S. Okay, so we initialize them to the first node. We give the value of Q. Q is pointing to the first node like we had discussed yesterday. So Q is pointing to the first node. We give the value of Q to the local variables R and S. So in your diagram, it will happen something like this. We'll have Q, we'll have R, and you will have S. All the three pointers will be pointing to the first node of the doubly linked list with the address 2800. And our aim is to delete this node with the value 60. Okay. So all the entire deletion works within this while loop. Okay. So this while loop starts here and it ends here. All the deletion happens within this while loop. Okay. So here, I think I'll just decrease the size so that you can see it in one screen. Okay, I think now you can see. So we check for this condition first, whether it's true or false. If it is true, then we can enter inside a while loop. So check for the condition R value. Is R value equal to null or not equal to null? When you check R value is 2800. So R is not equal to null. So therefore we enter this while loop. So now inside the while loop, all the statements can be executed. Okay, these all statements are inside the while loop. Next, we check for the value in R, the data part. So the data part of R is having 50, and we have num that we had entered as 60. This thing is not true. Okay, our arrow data is 50 and num is 60, so it is not true. Since it is not true, we do not enter inside the if statement. Okay, so this entire part was if statement. We do not enter inside if. So the besides if statement, the other statement that is present is this. What we will do with this statement? R equal to R arrow next. This will shift R to the next node. So now R will go to the next node. So R will come here. Clear? Okay. I'll just maximize, make this size little bigger. So I hope you can see. Any doubts about what I just told till now? How R is going to the next node? Or any of the statements that I just told you have not understood? I'll keep the code open. You can just let me know. Any doubts? Okay, now for some reason I can always see there are around 53 students, so there should be more than 60 students attending. So I don't know where are the 7-8 students who are not there, because with this diploma there should be around 62 or 60, more than that. So I don't know where are the others. Okay, so let me continue then. So once this statement is executed, R equal to R arrow next, we reach the end of the while statement. Okay, so we go back to this condition and check whether R is still not equal to null. Now you check the value of R here, R value is 800. That means it is not equal to null. So it is true. So we come here, again check for this statement, if statement. R arrow data now value is 10. Okay, and now num value is 60. So this is not true. So if it is not true, we do not enter inside this if statement. Okay, this entire thing is if. So we do not enter inside the if. We come here. So again we do this operation, R equal to R arrow next. So what it will do? It will shift R to the next node. R will go to the next node. Okay. We reach the end of the while. So again go and check for the condition. Check whether R is not equal to null. Check. R is 700 now. So it is not equal to null. Come here to the if statement. R arrow data now is 60. Num value also we had said is 60. So now this thing is true. So if it is true means we have found the node that we wanted to delete. So if we have found a node that is to be deleted, we need to check whether it's the first node. If we are deleting the first node, okay, what should be there in the previous? Suppose this was the first node. Okay, it's an open question to everyone. If this was the first node, what should be in the previous part of the first node? If I delete this, what should be in the previous part of the first node? You can answer in the chat. It should be null. Correct. Previous part of the first node will be null. Suppose I was deleting this node and it was the first node. Okay. Then this statement would have been true. The value of R would have been equal to S. Now you check here. Value of R is 700. Okay. Value of S is 2800. The value of R is not equal to S. That means it is not the first node. So I go to the else statement. Go to this else. Now this entire part is else. Okay. I check if it is the last node here. Inside else now I'm checking now. Inside else I'm checking the if statement. I check if it's the last node. If it is the last node, my next part in the last node is value is null. Okay. So I check for that if it is the last node using this condition. But here, as you can see, R arrow next value is 450. Okay. It is not null. It is not null. So I go to this else part. Okay. This is also not true. I go to this else part. Now pay attention here. This is something we had seen yesterday, but try to understand again. Okay. When I'm deleting this, okay, I want to delete this part. So when I'm deleting this entire thing, let me just highlight this. So that means when I delete this node that I've just made yellow, what value should come here? If this is no longer going to be present, this is no longer going to be present. Okay. What value should come here? Now this will be the first node. After deletion, this will be the second node. This will be the third node. This will be the fourth node. So what value should come in the next part here of the second node? If I delete this node, what value should come here? The address of the third node. Okay. So what is the address of the third node? 450. Okay. So I should get here 450. Similarly, when I delete this node, in the previous part of this node, what address should come? Address of the second node. So I should get here 800. So I'll just write here, I should get here 450. Here I should get as 800. Correct? Because this node will be deleted. So this third node, the new third node, should point to the second node. And the second node's address will be 800. Similarly, the second node should point to the new third node whose address is 450. That means these values that are presently there should get replaced. This value 700 should get replaced. Okay. So for that we have done this programming here in these two lines. Okay. Now understand how we are getting that. Okay, now we are going to delete this node. So look at this line here. R arrow next. Okay, R arrow next. The value of that is R is here. Okay, R arrow next. The value of that is 450. Okay, value of that is 450. That value 450 we are giving to R arrow previous. R arrow previous, what is the value? 800. So like I told you yesterday, you have to think R arrow previous, value of that is 800. Of 800, that node with the address 800. Where is that node with the address 800? Here. This is the node with the address 800. Of that node, the next value. Of that node, the next value means here. Okay. That is the way it has to be interpreted. So R, again I'll tell you, just repeat. R arrow previous. So R arrow previous means 800. Okay. So when I go to 800, of 800, the node with the address 800, of that next. The next means here. Okay, where I made yellow. So that should be replaced with, what is the value that I should get there? R arrow next. So when I get here R arrow next, means I will get the value as 450. When I get the value there as 450, this link changes. Okay, it will point now. The next it is telling it to point to the node with the address 450. So it will still change and it will start pointing like this to 450. The node with the address 450. Clear? Okay. It looks a bit untidy here, but you will understand. I hope you are understanding. Okay. So this is one link is formed from this node to this node to the third node. Okay. Anyone has not understood this part? Just let me know in the chat. Yeah. Yes. So I think you all have typed. So I think you're getting it. Any doubts about this? How the link is getting changed? Okay, I'll continue. So this is the way we change one link. Now the way to change the other link. Okay. R arrow next. R arrow next. So look here. R arrow next means 450. So out of that node with the address 450, of that node we are referring to the previous. So this node 450, the previous, that means this highlighted yellow part, I should change there. Okay. So what I should get there? The address of this node 800. So this 800 is stored here. R arrow previous. So I get that 800 from R arrow previous. So what will happen? That means this 800 will come here. When that 800 comes here, this link changes and comes to this node. Okay. That link changes and comes here. Once that has happened, else part is over, you come to this statement. This free function is an inbuilt C function that will deallocate the memory at that pointer, wherever that pointer is pointing. So R is pointing to this location with 700. So this thing will get deleted. So you are going to delete this node using that free function. So all these pointers that were present, this will get deleted. So you have got these links like this. Okay. So that is the way you do a deletion in the middle of a linked list. So have you all understood these two statements? This is a slightly different way of writing the coding, but it's not difficult. Have you all understood? Does anyone want it to be explained again, these two lines? Okay, is it okay with everyone? Okay, explain again. Okay, yeah. Okay, so what we are trying to do now is we are trying to delete this node. So basically when I delete this node, so suppose I delete it, okay, I'll just paste it down here. I delete this node. Okay. So when I delete this node, suppose this node is no longer there, this nodes, this linked list will get delinked. It will not be joined. So if I want to keep it joined, before deleting this node, I should form a link between this node and this node. Okay. So before I delete this node, this one, I should form a link between this node, the second node, and this node. So if I want to form a link in that, like this is a doubly linked list. So there will be a link going forwards and there will be a link coming backwards. So if I want to form a link, okay, here now, right now, what is there? 700 and 700 will be there, because why 700 and 700 will be there? Because this node is present there, right? This node was present. This node was present. So here we are having the address of the next node, that is 700. Here we are having address of the previous node. Again, that previous node is 700. If you are going to delete this, one, you are going to delete that. I'm going to form a link now from here to here. So if I'm going to form a link, I should get here address of the next node. Address of the next node is 450. Okay, I should get here 450. So that means I will get one link like this from here to here. If I want a backwards link, here I should get address of the previous node. Address of the previous node is 800. So I should get 800 here. When I get 800 here, I will get the backwards link like this. Okay, so that is the basic aim of deleting the node. So when we are deleting, we have to make sure that our linked list is still joined to each other. All the nodes are joined to each other. They are linked to each other. Okay, now to link these two nodes with each other, we are having this programming here. Okay, Did you understand this concept, what we are doing now? Okay. Siddesh, you will have to try for that logic. Okay, I'll tell you that logic later, but you all can program, try that later. But right now I'll just explain this part again. So I hope you got this. So why we need to change this from 700 values? Okay, so we need to change these values. So for that we are having this programming. Okay. So I'll just go through this code again. So what we are doing is we need to change now both these locations which are in yellow. Here I should get 450. Here I should get 450 in the next part. Here I should get 450. When I get a value as 450, what will happen? I will get this link from this node to this node like this. I'll get this link. Okay, clear? Next line, I refer to this R arrow next. R arrow next means 450 value of that node 450. I want the previous. So I am referring to this yellow part. So here what value I should get? I should get value there as 800. So if I want a value as 800, where is this 800 stored? 800 is stored here. So how I refer to this part? R arrow previous. So here it is R arrow previous. I will get here 800. When I get 800 there, this link will be formed from this node to this node like this. Okay. Now the links are already formed. Because the links are already formed like this, since it is 450 here, this arrow will not be present here. Because why? Because it is pointing to the node with the address 450. This will not be there. Now this link will also will not be there because here it is pointing to the previous node which is 800. Okay. Now in order to delete these other links, what we do is, after you have executed this if statement, okay, after you have executed this else statement, I call this inbuilt free function. I call this inbuilt free function which will directly delete this node. I will get something like this. And the links are already formed from this node to this node. So I'm having this as the first node, second node, third node, and the fourth. Okay. So I hope you understood that part. Okay. Are you all getting it? Just go through this recording again if you are not getting it. Okay. Just try to, yesterday also we had discussed it, just try. It is only these two statements are little difficult to understand, but draw a diagram and how I am explaining, try to understand. Okay. Still you have some doubts and we can try to solve it at some other point. Okay. So right now what we have done is we have deleted that node, so we will have something like this. Okay. So once you have deleted, you go back from the function. You directly go back to the main function. We don't want to execute the rest of the code. To use this return function to go back from the function. So you exit this function. Okay. So once you have done the deletion, you directly exit from the function. So when you exit, this temporary variable, the local variable, will also get deleted. So only variable that will remain will be the global variable, which is q, and only 4 nodes will remain with you like this. Okay. Let's take one more example. Let's call delete function. Say I call delete function for the second time, and I try to delete the last node. Okay, I want to delete the last node. The last node's value is 30. So I call this delete function again. Again, we have these local variables. So I will enter the value of num as 30 now. Again, I introduce 2 more local variables. So I will have R and S here. R and S. Okay, all of them will be pointing to the first node. Check the value of R. I'll do it a little fast now. Okay, value of R is not null. So R, what are you going to do with R? If you remember, R is not equal to null. So what you will do? Enter here. Check for the data. Data is not equal to num. This is not equal to num. So you go to this statement, shift R. So R will come here. Again check if R is null. It is not null. Check for the data, compare data with num. It's not equal. So what you will do? Shift R. Okay, you will shift R. Again check whether R is null. R is not null. You will come here. Check the data with the num. Data is 20, num is 30. So what you will do? Since this is not equal, you will go here, shift R. R will get shifted. R will come here. Okay. Again check whether R is null. It is not equal to null. Check whether you have found a node to be deleted. So now data part is 30 and num is also 30. So you have found a node to be deleted. Now if you are going to delete this node, before we see the actual code, okay, if you are going to delete this node, which will be a new last node, if you delete this one, we delete this, okay, which will be a new last node, your new last node will be this. So what should be this value here in the next part of this node? This value here should be null, right? If this is going to be the last node, then this 555 should get replaced with null. Okay, so that is what should happen when you are deleting the last node. The second last node, the next part value should become null, because after deleting this node, this will be your new last node. This part, the third node will become your new last node. If it's going to become your last node, this 555 should get replaced with null. Okay, that is the programming we have to check for. Clear? So let's see. So here you check whether it's the first node. If it's the first node, value of R and S would have been equal. Here S value is 2800, value of R is 555. So it is not the first node. Go to the else part. Okay. In the else part, check for this. R arrow next equal to null. Yes, R arrow next is equal to null. That means we are deleting the last node. If you are deleting the last node, what you have to do to the previous node? To the previous node here, you should get null. So that is done like this. R arrow previous. R arrow previous means 450. R arrow previous 450. So this node 450 of that next part. So of that next part means here next part. That is made equal to null. So that is made equal to null. Okay. Once you make that equal to null, if statement is executed, else is not executed. So you will come here, and delete the node pointed by R. So which node is pointed by R? This one. So you will delete it. So once you delete it, you will have 3 nodes remaining in your linked list. Okay. And then after deleting, you will return from the function. So when you return from the function, this temporary variable S will be deleted. Clear? So that is how you delete the last node. So any questions on how to do any questions on how to deal with deletion of the last node? Anyone has any doubts? Siddesh, I'll come to your questions later. Okay. So any questions about this?
So,
Yeah. Yeah, tell me.
sir, why do we need 2 pointers?
Which is that? S and R?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll come to that. Okay, we are coming to that. Any other question? Okay. So let's come to this question of Burhanuddin. So I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we call the delete function for the third time. So when I call the delete function for the third time, let's try and delete the first node. Okay. Till now we saw deleting in the middle, we saw deleting at the end. So now let's try to delete at the starting. If we are going to delete this node, before we see the actual code, if you could delete this node, what should happen here? This will become the new first node. Okay. So if this is going to be a new first node, here instead of 2800, I should get here value as null. So that is what should happen. Also, Q should get shifted from this node to this node because this will get deleted. So if this gets deleted, Q should always be pointing to the first node. So Q should shift here, and this previous part should become equal to null. So these are the two things that should take place. Okay. So let's check. So since the data of the first node is 50, let's assume that the data that is entered here is 50. Again, we are introducing these 2 pointers, S and R. So I will get here S, also I will get here R. Okay, so all 3 pointers will be pointing to the first node. Then I check for this condition, R is not equal to null. So I come, R is not equal to null, value is 2800. I come here. Okay, check the data part will num. So data part is 50, num is also 50. So I found a node that I want to delete. Okay, I found a node that I want to delete. So I want to check whether it's the first node. If it's the first node, that time the values of both these pointers will be equal. Okay, at no other point will these values of these both pointers will be equal. It will be equal only if this is the first node that we are deleting. And check your diagram. Value of R is 2800, value of S is also equal to 2800. That means we have found the first node. What we are deleting is the first node. So what we are deleting is the first node, and what I need to do is I want to do some changes like I told you. So what I do, first line I shift my S pointer to the next node. Okay, so S goes from here to here. Okay, that is your first line. The second line, I make the previous part of this equal to null. Previous part will become equal to null. In the last line, I will shift Q. So I will give the value of S to Q. So that means Q will get shifted from here and Q will come here. Okay, Q will get shifted from there and Q will come there. So if part is executed, else part is not executed. Okay, this line should be outside. Okay, it should be here. By mistake, it is come there. This line should come here. Okay, just make a change in that program that I had given you yesterday also. So if this part is executed, this else part is not executed, what you will do? you will free the node pointed by R. So this node is pointed by R, that you will free. So this node will get deleted. Okay. And the moment I exit this function, this temporary variable s, the local variable, will also get deleted. So I will have only two nodes remaining with me. This will be the first node and this will be the second. So I hope it has answered your question why we need that second pointer s. Okay. If you have still any doubt why we need s, then you can ask me now.
Sir, is there any way to use only 2 pointers?
You can do, but it will be a little bit complicated. It may not be the best solution because from the complexity point of view, then simply making the code complex is not the best. Okay. You could try, but it may just make the code little complex. It may not be possible as such, but you can try. You could use all those statements like step statements, and try. It could be possible. Okay. I have never tried like that, and I don't remember anywhere seeing like that. But I think it should be possible if you use something like this.
Sir, Siddesh here. So one thing I have to clear. So what parameter do we use to select the node to be deleted?
We are using the data. We are using this data. We are using the node data.
But sir, if the data is common in multiple nodes,
Then only the first node will be deleted.
okay.
Or yeah, only the first node will be deleted, because the moment we delete the node, we are going back to the main function. No, so only the first node will be deleted, and the remaining values will remain as it is. Now coming to your other question that you were asking with regards to position, you will have to use some concept like this. Yesterday I had shown you how to add after a particular position. You will have to take the position, you have to move your pointer to that particular position using some loop like this, like I had shown you in that add after function. Okay, position your pointer accordingly, and then do those deletions in the middle according to the position. So you'll have to try that programming. And I would want the entire class to try that programming actually, because you can do deletion in both the ways. So in the exams, they may ask you to delete by the position, then you should also know that. You can try for yourselves in your notebooks or on Visual Studio. Try to also delete by position. The concept of this similar something you'll have to use. Keep moving the pointer till you find your position. So this completes your doubly linked list program. So any questions about this code? Anyone has? So there are two changes that you all need to make in your code. One is this. So if you are having the program open, you can just in the delete function, you just change this line here. And the second change that I told you yesterday was in the append here. I think it was here. Instead of Q, it should be 10 in these two lines. Just make sure that you are changing those three lines of code that I have just told you. Two in this function and one in the delete function. Okay. So any doubts here? Okay. Then I'm giving you all two questions for homework. Okay. Based on what we have studied till now. I'm giving you all a lot of time till November 3rd or something I mentioned in that Word document. And I may add some more homework questions also. So you'll start doing it as soon as possible. Okay. I'll explain you both the homework questions. So the first program that you all are going to do is you all are going to, I've given you all the program. The program is on circular linked list. Okay. Now circular linked list works in a similar manner as your single linked list, in the sense that a node is having two parts like this. Okay, data part and the next part. So you will have like this a collection of nodes. There will be many nodes present. Okay, Then you will have it is just like a singly linked list. You will have a collection of nodes like this. So there will be some pointer pointing to the first node. You can call it as Q. Okay. There will be data. This will be the data. Say there is data 10, 20, 30. Structure of the node is same as a singly linked list. So there is just two parts of the node. Okay. Then you will have an address part. Suppose these are the addresses of the nodes. Now, the only difference between both these types of list will be between singly list and a circular linked list. In a singly linked list, you cannot go backwards. Okay. In a singly linked list, you cannot go backwards. But whereas in a circular linked list, you can go backwards. So how you can go backwards is like this. Okay. In the last node of a circular linked list, the next part of the last node will contain the address of the first node. So the address of the first node in this case here is 300. Okay. So it will contain the address of the first node. So here it will be containing address as 300. So instead of being null, here it will contain the address of the first node. So that means a link will be formed like this from the last node to the first node. So suppose you were traversing, okay, and you wanted to go back. You could have gone like this from this node. You could have come here, then you could have come here, and suppose from this node you wanted to go back, you could go, because this next part would contain the address of the first node. So you could go back like this. So that is the difference between a singly linked list and a circular linked list. Okay. So this part was explained to you when I was explaining about the linked list. So this is just a revision for you. Now, what you have to do is, I have given you the program. Okay. The entire program I have given you. You need to trace it out. And for each step, you need to draw the diagram. Stepwise, you have to draw the diagram. Now you can draw the diagram like this in Excel and upload to Excel, or you can draw it on draw it on your books, okay, and take photos and upload that as a PDF. It's up to you. I would prefer you that you do in Excel like this, okay. Only problem of doing in Excel is to show the circular form. You will have to use some thing like this, like I'm using some screen marker, okay. And the screen marker does not remain. The moment I close the screen marker, I close the app, then this screen marker goes. So it's not permanent thing. Okay. So only that is the problem of doing it in Excel. You cannot show the circular part here. Now the things that you'll have to do are the same operations: insert at the beginning, insert at the end, insert in the middle, and delete at the beginning, delete at the end, delete in the middle. So when you are deleting this node, okay, I just want you all to use your common sense and tell me, if you are deleting the first node, what changes should happen in the other nodes? Can you tell me? If I am deleting, I'll just number this. So suppose this is the first node, this is the second node, this is the third node, and make a note in your books as the things are being told. Okay. So if I'm deleting this first node, what changes should happen in your diagram? Can you tell me? Just now we discussed it also for doubly linked list. All the changes are almost similar for all the types of linked list that happen. So what should happen if I'm deleting this node? What should happen? Shift Q pointer. Okay, that is one. Shift Q pointer. So Q will get shifted. So suppose I'm deleting this, Q should come here. Okay. So if I'm deleting this, this will no longer be present. Okay, where should this next last node next part be pointing? Correct. Burhanuddin has answered. Last node should point to the second node. So if I delete this first node, this last node here, this part here should now contain address of the second node. So here I should get 600. Okay, that means this part instead of being here will now point like this. Okay, so you should have here 600. Okay, so like that you have to take care of these various conditions. Okay, so it's a pretty simple code. It's just like a single linked list. Only when you're deleting the first node and the last node, you have to take care of certain things. Or you're inserting at the first node and the last node, you have to take care of the certain things. So for example, if you are inserting a new node here, okay, if you are inserting a new node at the beginning, what changes will happen? Suppose you have an existing linked list like this. And you want to insert one node here. Okay, and this say address of this node is say 100. So what changes should happen? So now this is your last node, and this will be your first node. So what should happen here? Last node should point to the new first node. Okay, last node should point. Now this is going to be this thing what I've drawn here. This will be a new first node. Okay, this one, and the new first node address is 100. So what should happen here? This thing should change and it should now point to this 100. Okay, that means this will change like this here. Okay, then Q is pointing here, so Q should get shifted here, and then you have to form this link from here to here. So this here should contain the value as 300. So basically, before you are going to do this program, okay, you need to revise your single linked list program properly. You have studied it for your ITs already. Diploma students also, I told you to go through this program. Okay, if I keep spoon feeding you each and every program, tracing each and every program, you are not going to learn anything. Okay, so this program is very similar to your single linked list. I given you the program. I wanted to show step by step. Okay, don't copy please, because you are going to do a lot more programming in this subject. So if you're going to copy the diagrams from each other, you're not going to understand anything. You only need to see the single linked list program again. Okay, it's already there. Recorded link is given to you. You need to watch that program again. All the operations are given to you. Understand there what is happening, and that similar logic is being applied to your circular linked list. Okay, you need to do it step by step. Take the code, and whatever is happening in that code, do step by step. If any line you're not understanding, we can always discuss. Okay, it's not like we cannot discuss, but you need to try it out first. And I'm not going to show you each and every step. Okay, almost we are reaching the end of the. I'm not going to be showing you many programs now. You all are going to start programming on your own. Okay, so henceforth you're going to do. So we are starting with that part now. I've shown you now how it is to be traced, how it is to be understood, the code, everything has to be explained from you now. For the last 1.5 months, 2 months, we have been doing it. I think by now you know how it is to be done. Now you need to practice it. Okay, try. If you're finding any difficulty with any lines of code, we can always discuss. So that is the first homework question. Okay, I've already given it to you also here in your Google Classroom. Since the diploma students are not there in the Google Classroom, I posted in your WhatsApp group also. So the second question that you need to do is you're going to write a program to perform polynomial addition using singly linked list. Okay. So this part I'll explain to you how it is to be done. So basically polynomial addition is going to be done like this. Okay. If I give you a polynomial like this, you can just take down the polynomial and do the addition and tell me. I hope you have not forgotten what is polynomials. Okay. You can just do this addition of these two polynomials and tell me the answer. This is the first polynomial. Yeah, Siddesh, if you are referring to circular linked list, yeah, you can write your own program also for that. You all are free to write your own circular linked list program too. Okay, but it should handle all the cases that we have already discussed for doubly linked lists. So these are the two polynomials. Tell me the answer. Add these polynomials and tell me. So first one is x raised to 5. Second one is 3x cube plus 4. And the second polynomial is 6x raised to 6 plus 4x cube. Add this and tell me the answer. Yeah, Saish, you have not added this. So this is the correct answer. Okay. So you will get 6x raised to 6 plus x raised to 5 plus 7x cube plus 4. So that is the answer you will get. For those of you who don't know what is happening, I'll just tell you then what is happening. You're having these two polynomials. So you're comparing the powers. Okay. Here. So you're comparing this power with this power. The first powers. Since this power is greater than this power, you are putting this power directly in the answer. So you are getting 6x raised to 6. Next, you are comparing this power with this power. Okay. Since this power is greater, you are directly putting this power in the answer. So you are getting x raised to 5. So you are getting this 2. Then when you compare this power with this power, both the powers are equal. Okay. Powers are raised to 3. So when the powers are equal, you add the coefficient. So 3 plus 4 is 7. So you will get 7x cube. And then you are just having only one variable without any power. So that is 4. Here you don't have anything. So you directly add this to the answer. So you will get here plus 4. So you will get the answer as 6x raised to 6 plus x raised to 5 plus 7x cube plus 4. Okay. Now you need to write a program for it to do this addition using singly linked list. So you're going to do something like this. Okay. Now pay attention and you can note down also in your notebooks. So you're going to first ask the user to enter two polynomials. Okay. They could be of any length. They need not be equal. Okay. Please note, they could be of any length. Okay. Then you're going to define the structure of a node for this. So like we have discussed, your polynomial, you have to decide what will be the structure of your node. So can you all just directly tell me what will be the structure of a node if you are making you're going to represent this polynomial in a linked list? What will be the most important parts that you need to store in the structure? See, this is your polynomial. Now you just take one term. This is your one term that I've highlighted. 6 x raised to 6. So in this highlighted part, correct. You're going to, yes, Ria and Buranuddin and Vibhuti. Okay, yeah, that's correct. So you need to store this as the members of the structure. So you will have one member as the coefficient and the other member as the power. Okay, so this will be your two structure members. And the third
So,
structure, yes.
so we can even do it like this, right? So we can create a linked list where we are only storing the coefficient and the like how inside how deep that value is. That is the power. So for example, if I'm putting the question which you gave, x to the power 5 plus 3x to the power 3, right? So
Yes.
it will be like x to the first node will be x to the power 0, second node will be x to the power 1 by default. So only I'm keeping the track of coefficient and then I'm just adding both linked list. In that way I can add.
So, no, but you want to keep blank nodes. That way you're saying you're going to keep
No,
empty
the
nodes.
structure of the node will only be the coefficient. The position of the node will determine the power.
Yes. So how you'll decide the position of the node? Yes.
He'll enter it, right? So I'll ask him the maximum power of the what do you say, the polynomial, and then in a loop I'll just ask him to enter the coefficients of each node as you do it in the calculator, like that. So each coefficient of each x to that power will enter step by step. So x, if it was a square coefficient, then the square part first, then the x part, and the last is the constant one.
Okay. Okay. You can try like that, but I feel that will be a bit complicated approach. First, I'll explain you the entire program, and then you think whether you can still do it in the way you have been explaining. Okay. You can. I'm not saying that what method I'm going to tell right now is the only way of doing things. Okay. So like how Yash is suggesting a method of doing the problem, you can always try your own methods, but as long as the polynomial addition is done using linked list. Okay, so your aim has to be using linked list. So Yash is thinking of some method, something is come to his mind where he is suggesting he's going to do the, means he has just described his method just now. So he can try that. Like that, you all can also try if you have any other method. Okay. So for those people who don't, who would not be able to come up with their own methods, I'm just explaining one general method. Okay. Again, it may not be the only way of doing things. Remember, in programming, there's never one solution. We always can write the program in multiple ways. Okay. Now, when you're only thing that you're going to do is in your syllabus, you have to do this using linked list. So therefore, you have to do the solution using linked list. Clear? Okay. So basically, what you're going to do is you're going to declare one structure of a node. Okay. So for the structure of the node, you're going to have a coefficient part and a exponent part or the power part, like your classmates have already described here. So you're going to have coefficient part and a power part. That is two members, and the third member will be the link part. Just like in your single linked list, you had the data part and the link part. Here, the data part will be having two members, coefficient, power. So there will be two int variables. Okay. So you can declare two int variables. One will be coefficient, one will be power, and the third one will be the next part. How we always have the next part. Okay. So once you have declared the structure of a node, whenever you create using malloc the nodes will automatically be created with having three parts. Okay. So for example, this polynomial here, x raised to 5. Okay. X, the coefficient of x is 1. Okay. So I have written here 1. The power is 5. So I have written here 5. And in the diagram, this is the next part, the address of the next node. Similarly, here I am having 3x cubed. So the coefficient and power is 3 and 3, and the address of the next node. Then I am having 4 coefficient I have written, and power is not there, so it's 0. Okay. And since it's the last node, here the next part is null. So like that, you are going to create two linked lists, single linked list. Okay, representing both your polynomials. So once you have created your two single linked lists, then you have to add them. So when you add them, you will get this answer. Like we have already seen how you get this answer. Okay. So this answer will be stored in a third polynomial. linked list. So you're going to basically have in your program 3 linked lists. 2 linked lists for the input, that is P1 and P2. You can give any name that you want. Okay, so these will be your 2 polynomials, and the sum of the polynomials you can call as P3, and that will be your 3rd linked list. Okay, so this is the idea. So basically this will be your kind of algorithm. Okay, so what you can do is, first you have to decide the structure of your node. So we have already decided the structure. So you can have something like this, struct node. So you will have int coefficient, int power, okay, and then you will have struct node. Next, this will be your structure of the node. Okay, so basically this will give you now a node having 3 parts like this. This will give something like this. Okay, so something like this you can do. Then in your second step, you're going to create a single linked list for the first polynomial and store the values. Then you're going to create single linked list for the second polynomial, store the values. Now, how to create a single linked list and all we have already discussed so many times, so I think that should be not a problem for you all. Okay, we have already seen how we are going to, we have seen this previously, how it is to be done. An entire program also we have done. So you'll have to create these 2 linked lists, store the polynomial, then the addition part of the logic. Okay, now look at this here. This part is very important. Okay, see here, you will introduce some temporary pointer here, say t1. Okay, or if, let's call it as a and b only. So you have a here and you have b here. Okay, say the permanent pointers for this linked list will be here. This will be permanent pointer, like how we have q here, we had q here. If you remember, we had q here in the doubly linked list. So like that, say permanent pointer for this will be p1, say for this, and for this will be p2. Okay, I'm not shown it, but just remember that. Okay, and a and b are, remember, maybe are the temporary pointers. So what you're going to do is, to compare the power of this first node of A with the first node of B. Compare the power. So this power 6 is greater than 5. So when the power of 6 is greater than 5, what we do, according to a polynomial addition, this part is added to the answer. Okay, so here we are checking for that here. See here. So here what we are doing, till the polynomials are not null, so till this linked list, sorry, I keep, so till this linked list is not null, till this linked list are not null, so I'm checking for that here, this while statement. Okay, so in this while statement here, I'm checking for that. So both should not be equal to null. If both are not equal to null, then I enter the while statement and check the powers of the first nodes. When I check the powers of the first nodes, this is greater than this. So that means I add this to the answer. I add it to the answer. You can see here what I have written. Okay, add the power of P1 to the P3. So I added the power of, suppose P1 was greater than P2, then I added the power of P1 to P3. But here P1 power is not greater, so I go to the else part. P1 power is less than P2 power, so that condition is true. 5 is less than 6. What I do, add a P2 power. P2 power is 6. I add it to the answer. Add a P2 coefficient. Coefficient is also 6. I add it to the answer. And then what I do, I shift P2 to the next node. So I would shift this here. I shift this to the next node. Then I do not execute this else part. I come here. I check whether I have reached the end of the list. Check for this. Is it null? or is this null? Both AND condition is there. Okay, here AND condition is there. So both should not be equal to null. Check for this again now. P1's power is 5. Is it greater than this? Yes. 5 is greater than 3. So then what I do? Add P1 power to the answer. So P1 power is 5. Add it to the answer. Add the coefficient to the answer. And shift this. Here. And shift that. So I do not execute any of this. Check this again while. So check whether I reach the end. Is it null? Is not null. And this is also not null. Check for the power again. Is it greater? Is P1 power greater than P2? Power is equal. It's not greater. So we will not do this if, or we will not do this else, because this checks for greater than, this checks for less than. So the equal part is here. If both the powers are equal, what I do? I can take any one power, either of A or I can take the power of B. Okay, any power, since the powers are equal. So in this case, I take the power of A. I take the power of A and put it in P3's power. So I take this power of A, that is 3, put here. Okay, and I add the coefficient of P1 and P2. Do 3 plus 4, and okay. Next step, I shift P1 and P2 to the next node. So I shift this A here, and I shift this B. There is nothing more left, so B will be equal to null. Okay, B is equal to null now because we have reached the end of the list. This list is over. There were 3 nodes here, so this is not over, but here 2 nodes were there, so this is over. So the moment one list gets over, this condition fails. Okay, this condition fails because here we had said it should be end. So since one list has become empty, this condition fails. So what I do? I check for this remaining 2 loops that I have. I check where the polynomial P1 is still not null. So here in this case, P1 is still not null. Okay. So in that case, what I do? I add the power of P1. Power of P1 is 0. I add it here. And coefficient of P1, I add it to the answer. And I shift P1 to the next node. So now when I shift this will become null. I was doing this as long as it was not null. So now it has become null. So that means I've reached the end of this list and I've reached the end of this list. And this is my answer. Clear? So basically what you're going to do is create the first linked list, second linked list. As long as both the linked lists are not empty, you start comparing them from the first node onwards. Okay, if the power of P1 is greater than power of P2, put power of P1 in the answer and the coefficient of P1 in the answer. If power of P2 is greater than power of P1, put these answers of P2 in the answers. Whichever answers you are putting, suppose you have put of P2 in the P3, shift to the next node. When the powers are equal, like this case, take any one power and put it in the answer and add the coefficients. So 3 plus 4 you get 7 and store it in the P3 and then shift both these pointers and so on you have to go. So did you all get it, or do you all want me to explain it later? Not today, maybe in the next time, or did you all get the logic what is to be done? Yes, you can type in the chat. You will understand what is to be done for the polynomial addition. Yes, students. Did you get the logic? Okay, maybe on Saturday, otherwise I'll explain this logic again to you all. Okay, we'll see this again on Saturday. Okay, so what you all do right now is uh, there's one more thing that you all need to do by Saturday. Okay, by Friday you all have to finish this. I posted some links for you all. Okay, about your virtual labs. You all need to go through all these experiments. Now, these all experiments programs have been done for you. Okay, so you need to go through this and go through this actually. This will tell you like the basics of stacks. We have already done all this. So once if you know all these things, you directly can go and give the quiz. Okay. Answer most some things may be a little bit for your is covered in some other subject in your syllabus. So you omit the things. So for example, this thing is not there for you currently in data structures. Okay, whatever is not there, just leave that part and you can just put any of these options. It does not matter. So this is a practice quiz. Okay, so you can just practice this all experiments. All these 3 experiments you need to go through this. So there's one practice also that has been given to you, exercise here. Practice these concepts. Okay, become thorough with this. All queues using array, queues using linked list, stacks using array, stacks using linked list. Everything is given to you. It's explained how it is to be done. The demo is given. Everything is given here. Okay. I want you all to go through all these experiments here. The video is also been given. You can go through that video and do this. Then on Saturday, I will tell you there's another part to this. On Saturday, I will give you that. I will tell you about that. Okay. So just go through this this entire 3 links that are given for you. Okay. So yeah. Till the next lecture. Tomorrow's lecture will be taken for you by Christina ma'am. So I'll meet you all directly on Friday for the 3:30 class. Okay. On Friday, I'll be starting with a new topic. Okay, that is trees. It's a brand new topic. It's nothing to do with the programming will be to do with linked list later on, but the topic is nothing. The concept is new. It is nothing to do with the previous topics that was done. So I hope all of you will be there for the lecture on Friday. So till then, take care.